There are certain memories from childhood that disappear as you get older. Entire years can become blurry. Faces disappear. Conversations disappear. Places you used to see every day slowly become harder to picture. But then there are other memories, moments that stay with you for reasons you can't completely explain. You remember exactly where you were. You remember how you felt. Sometimes you even remember the exact words you heard. This is one of those memories. And compared to some of the other things that happened during my childhood, this story might seem simple. There was no figure standing in front of me. Nothing moved by itself. I didn't see anything supernatural. I just heard a voice. 5 words. Don't go that way. And more than 20 years later, I still don't know who said them or why. I was around 10 or 11 years old when this happened. I would have been somewhere around the 5th or 6th grade. It was summertime, and I was walking home one evening. Back then, walking around by myself wasn't unusual. As a kid, you learn your neighborhood differently than you understand it as an adult. You know which streets connect, which way gets you somewhere faster, which routes take longer, and of course, you know the shortcuts. On this particular evening, I had a choice between 2 ways home. One was the regular route. It was longer. The other was a shortcut, a route I'd taken before. There wasn't anything particularly frightening about it. I wasn't walking towards some mysterious abandoned building. I wasn't knowingly putting myself in danger. As far as I knew, it was just another way home. And that's important, because before what happened next, I had no reason to be afraid. As I approached the point where I would take the shortcut, something happened that immediately stopped me. I heard a voice. It said, "Don't go that way." Even now, when I think about it, what stands out isn't just what the voice said. It was where it came from. The voice sounded like it came from directly over my right shoulder. Close. Not somebody yelling from across the street. Not somebody speaking from somewhere in the distance. Not something where I had to wonder, did somebody just say something? It sounded close enough that it felt like someone was right there. Like someone had leaned toward me and whispered directly into my ear. "Don't go that way." I froze. There's a difference between being scared because you see something and being scared because your brain is trying to understand something that shouldn't have happened. If I had seen somebody standing behind me, there would have been an explanation. A person warned me. Simple. But when I looked around, there was nobody there. Nobody standing behind me. Nobody close enough to have spoken directly over my shoulder. I couldn't see anyone who could explain what I just heard. And now I'm standing there with a decision. Do I keep going or do I listen? Remember, I'm a kid. I'm not standing there analyzing paranormal theories. I'm not thinking about ghosts or guardian angels or anything like that. I'm just trying to process something very simple. I heard someone tell me not to go that way, and I couldn't see who said it. I could have ignored it. I could have convinced myself it was nothing. I could have taken the shortcut anyway, but I didn't. Something about that warning was enough. I chose the longer route. I turned away from the shortcut and continued home another way. And here's where this story becomes strange in a completely different way. Nothing happened. I made it home. I was safe. There was no dramatic ending. Nobody chased me. I didn't hear about something terrible happening on that shortcut afterward, at least not that I remember. I simply went home, and that's it, which means I've been left with the same unanswered question ever since. What would have happened if I had gone that way? Maybe the answer is nothing. Maybe I would have taken the shortcut and gotten home exactly the same way. Maybe what I heard had a completely normal explanation. Sound can travel strangely. Maybe somebody was nearby that I didn't see. Maybe my mind interpreted some random sound as words. I was a kid, and I've always tried to leave room for explanations like that. Because these stories are based on what I remember, I'm not telling you that I know exactly what happened. I don't, but there's another possibility. What if the warning mattered? What if I wasn't supposed to take that shortcut that evening? What if something was waiting farther down that path? Not necessarily something supernatural. Maybe a person, maybe an accident. Maybe some situation a 10 or 11-year-old kid had no business walking into. I'll never know, because I listened. And that's what makes this memory different from some of the others. If the voice actually protected me from something, then the only reason nothing happened is because I listened to it. There's also something else that makes this memory difficult for me to dismiss. This wasn't the only strange thing I remember from that period of my childhood. By this point, I'd already experienced something inside my home that I couldn't explain. I had watched the doors on our fireplace begin rattling violently on their own. I had gone to my mother afterward and tried to explain what I'd seen. And because I was taking medication at the time, there was always the possibility that what I experienced could be dismissed as something connected to that. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe my perception was wrong. That's something I've had to consider when looking back at these memories. But this experience was different. There was no object for me to misinterpret. No movement across the room. No shadow. No strange shape. Just a voice. Clear enough that I stop walking. Clear enough that I change direction. 5 words. Don't go that way. As an adult, I think about how differently we understand danger compared to when we're children. Adults want evidence. We wanted to know who said it, where did it come from, what exactly was the danger. Can we prove anything would have happened? But sometimes instinct doesn't give you evidence. It just tells you, stop, leave, don't go there. Maybe that's all this was. Instinct. Maybe some part of my brain noticed something before I consciously understood it. Maybe I saw or heard something subtle and my mind turned that information into a warning. That's possible. But if that's what happened, why do I remember the warning as a voice? And why did it sound like someone was standing directly over my right shoulder? That's the part I still can't answer. I don't remember turning around and discovering who warned me, because there was nobody there. I don't remember finding out what was down that shortcut, because I never went. I don't have an explanation that wraps everything up neatly. What I have is a memory, a summer evening, a shortcut home, a voice directly over my right shoulder, and 5 words, don't go that way. I listened. I took the long way home, and whatever would have happened if I hadn't, I'll never know. Maybe nothing was waiting for me. Maybe something was. Maybe the voice came from somewhere completely ordinary. Or maybe someone or something knew I shouldn't go down that path. I'm not here to tell you which explanation to believe. I'm only telling you what I remember, and you can decide for yourself. Was it instinct? A coincidence? Someone I simply couldn't see? Or was something actually warning me? Because sometimes the most frightening part of a story isn't finding out what was there. It's spending the rest of your life wondering what you avoided. This is what I remember. You decide what you believe.